This is Vishal from OptiBlack, and today I want to quickly show you how you can use Mixpanel for e-commerce companies and how you can use different reports to understand where are users spending time, how are they converting, and which channels are bringing the maximum revenue for you, right? Let me first start with the e-commerce category overview. So you can have a dashboard talking about how the revenue has grown by category. You can even talk about like what is the overall funnel conversions and active and new purchases. You can you can go to any report and then break it down to understand whether they used the gift card to do it or not, right? So you can do any sort of analysis based on the kind of metrics that you're looking for, whether these are, for example, this is the purchase completed where they have not used a gift use card and Sunday has been the maximum users. So you can try to see like how users behave and whether the gift cards are working or not. This is one simple example and for the active and the new purchasers. You can look at understanding the purchase trends, which is how many purchases happened last month, over time, which category it happened, and then number of times a user purchased. So this is the repeat users. For e-commerce, as we all know, you typically get profitability when people are actually buying from you the second and the third time. So this is a good way to understand like people who have already purchased it only for once. You can look at these few users. You can create a cohort of these users and understand like how these guys behaved compared to the second time buyers and the third time buyers. So you can do all sort of analysis in doing the same. Next is the conversion journey, which is how the purchase funnel looks like, how many viewed the product, how many added to the cart, and the cart was viewed, and the purchase was completed. Now, this can directly give you, suppose you click on this top part, and this will directly give you the users who viewed the cart but did not make a purchase. You can create a cohort out of these users and target them very specifically with a different kind of messaging based on what they have purchased on the cart. So this way you can get higher revenues in understanding people who are dropping off and have a very focused campaign just to get them back. And it's very easy to do it through this approach and to do it through the mix panel. We can do it by category, we can do it by funnel conversion over time, and this is a master diagram, Sankey diagram that talks about like how the flow has been for the users. For the for anyone who views a product, they goes on to only 28% of them add that product. How can you can improve the conversion numbers over here to increase how more and more people adding it to the product to the cart. Out of this, only people who have added to the cart, only 16% of them actually go and view the cart. So that means many are dropping off over here. So it's something that user purchase flow, you can quickly look at how the users are going through the entire flow, which is products added to the cart, how many cart viewed, how many started the checkout, and then completed the checkout altogether. So this way you can expand anything typically by property or like which payment method was used to make the purchase. So as you can see, credit card or the PayPal, Apple Pay is third, but credit card is the maximum one that was used. So this way you can understand like how people are actually going through the purchase decisions and how many are actually converting. Next up is acquiring new users. So you can have a look at like in the last 3 months or 6 months, which channels are actually bringing us the people who are actually viewing the product for the first time ever. Based on the different UTM source, you can further break it down and understand whether they're coming from a particular system. This says Android as the maximum one, which means your mobile is the one that is driving the maximum traffic. So your website needs to be more mobile optimized so that you can do it. This way you can understand like how the traffic is changing over time. In 6 months, that was the number. As you can see, Google Ads and iOS is the one that is picking up. So this way, depending upon which channel and which thing is bringing you the kind of traffic and what kind of users are bringing on to the same, you can optimize your entire website to address these part much more better. Then let's look at the acquisition, like what is the time it is taking for the users to create an account onto a platform. It is taking like 5 to 10 hours. So there is something that is uh, you can look at understanding why it is taking such a long time, and maybe you can do a customer research to with these few people to understand like why it took a longer time for them, or was it something that was stopping them to make a sign up page done. All right. On the engagement and the retention part, we can have look at who are my most engaged users, what is my activation rate, like how many people are actually coming back in and again and making the purchase. Then on the retention part, you can understand like how many users have not purchased since a long time. So this is actually a cohort that says users who have not purchased in a certain time, the drift away users. So they purchased about like 3 months back and they have not purchased since the last 3 months. Then you can have an understanding like how that thing is going down. So you can see whether the retention marketing is working for you or not. How many of my engaged users are actually come back. So the average value is going down over time. If your retention marketing is working, this would ideally flatten out or go start going up. You can even have daily active users and weekly active users tracking. This gives you an idea, like if you want to run any experimentations, this would give you idea like how many actual users are coming in on a day-to-day basis, how you can add, so suppose there are 874 weekly active users, how you can increase this over time, whether they are getting more from Google Ads or how you can get more people traffic coming onto the platform to increase for the purchases. Coming to the one of the most important part, which is like you can start adding your cost data and some data to it, clicks, understanding how are the users actually. So let's look at one of them. Add data, number of sum of clicks. So how many clicks are happening, right? How many clicks are happening and what is the cost of those clicks. So you can get cost per click formula tracking about like what's the cost per click that is happening for you. Purchase by campaign, whether a particular campaign is working or not, and then based on different sources, what is the revenue of the sum completed, and how much you spent on ads for a certain platform. What you can do over here and take it one step further is by adding a formula to it and saying like if you give me completed purchase completed by ad data, so like A by P, this would mean you're getting 107,000 in revenue when you have spent 2,747. So whatever you're investing in, you're getting about like 40 times from Google Ads, 6 times from TikTok. So obviously TikTok can be optimized, 16 times on Reddit, and 4 times on YouTube. So if you want to increase a particular channel, you know which channel to improve on. Maybe you can get someone to do your TikTok ads to increase them much more better, or you can also take a decision whether you want to continue and adding all to the same, right? So this is how you can take all those return on ad spend decisions to understand which where can you get more revenue based on the certain channels. You can also get web analytics to understand where are how many users did we gain last week, how many which countries are they visiting from, what platforms that they're using, total sessions, all those web metrics that are easily to be done. Bounce rate, what's the bounce rate based on a certain pages, which pages are performing. You can also go ahead and further talk about instead of page names, you can look at the different URLs to understand like how different pages are actually driving to the product category or to the same. Revenue analytics is largely covered in the e-commerce that we talked about over here. But if you want to have a quick look, you can have purchase completed. You can have look at aggregate properties and you would say subtotal. So yesterday we added 22,000 US dollars of revenue. This was yesterday's revenue, how it grew over time. You can have a look at that part. You can convert this into a line diagram to understand. So something has happened over here. That was Sunday was the biggest one. Then again you got a spike on on Sunday. Then you again got a spike over here. So again, this was Wednesday. So there is something that is happening which is like different on why something happened over here on Sunday. You can zoom in and understand like what's what led to this thing. So you can do and look at the view all the events that happened. You can then break it down to understand like where do these guys actually came from and why were these purchases much more higher. So let's say, so this one is only 19, this is 70, subtotal is 22, 108, 78, 95, 49, 160, 69, 126. So you can have a look at it. Any of them actually drove those metrics altogether. If not, you can go back, and you can understand in the revenue over time. You can, let's say, do the root cause analysis and not about, sorry. What it would do is you can do the view the events, you can combine it for whatever happened on this part and maybe break it down by the discount code, which is like, did a special discount code worked for you or not on that day? So you can see this one special gift actually drove those discussions. So if you go on May 14th, out of 59, this has suddenly grown, right? So this has only doubled. This has suddenly grown on special gift actually worked on that day. And if you can actually understand whether it was a discount code, whether it was a payment method that actually drove that entire thing, whether it was any city through which you actually got the maximum conversion with the activation happening from a certain city. So as you can see, Cleveland suddenly it has been 000 for a longer time, and then suddenly you had purchases from there. Then there are certain cities that got activated. So diving deeper, there are many e-commerce companies who do offline events. So this way you can go around and understand like whether something that happened on that particular day that actually got the revenue for you. So if it is a sports brand, there might be a sports event that might have happened on that day, or it might be like a marathon that is coming in a particular city. You can then try to understand like what is driving those purchases. Based on that, you can create those separate marketing campaigns. Suppose you already know that in Danville you sell sports apparels, and there is marathon that is going to happen in the next 1 week or 2 weeks. Right away, you can pitch and see like whether people want to get water bottles, whether people want to get t-shirts or anything like that, have a specific sportswear for their marathon runs. That way you can, in that particular locality, you can then understand like how that targeting happened, what those campaigns led to it, and how you can convert more. So these are good ways to understand like what is driving those revenues, and then feeding them back into understanding like how you can leverage or capitalize on something that is happening offline to bring those people to buy products online altogether. As soon as they come online, they see your ad, or they see something, and they are able to make the purchase. So that's it from like how you can use Mixpanel for e-commerce companies. Hope this was helpful. You were able to get something out of it. There are so many things that you can do a lot more. You can connect your Mixpanel to a customer engagement tool, and then run very specific retention marketing campaigns. So if you want to know more about it, feel free to visit optiblack.com, and you will see a lot of material on understanding like how you can drive revenue from retention marketing, and also you can drive revenue from data. So if you have if you want to know anything specifically, feel free to reach out, and then you can take this spin for yourself. So you can create an account in Mixpanel, and if you want to see all this like a sample data set, you can just go over here and click on e-commerce and test it out for yourself before you start working with us. That's it. Take care.